This is Jarrod Horak for today's RacingDigest.com, and my Today's Racing Digest video series continues Saturday, February 29th, 2020. We're going to do a couple races from Gulfstream Park on Fountain of Youth card, but before we do that, last week on February 23rd, last Sunday, we went 2 for 2 in our stakes races at Sunland Park for the Digest. We did the Island Fashion Stakes. Top choice Shanghai Keeley got the job done. In the Mind That Bird Derby, we pegged Sir Rick, and he got the job done. Now, the Island Fashion was a prep race for the Sunland Oaks, which is a Kentucky Oaks points race. Shanghai Keeley didn't run particularly fast, though. She would have to really improve if she would be competitive in a race like the Sunland Oaks. Now, as for the Mind That Bird Derby, Sir Rick was much faster than Shanghai Keeley, but he's going to have to run even faster if he expects to win the Sunland Derby, which is a Kentucky Derby points race, 50 points to the winner. So it's basically the Sunland Derby is a win and you're in for the Kentucky Derby. And you're going to probably see some shippers. We've seen Todd Pletcher ship to Sunland Park, Bob Baffert. They've had success with some of their shippers. So Sir Rick's going to be probably facing some decent shippers, and he's going to have to run faster. But he will be at least a pace factor in the Sunland Derby, and his task is not completely impossible. Now, if you want to read my Derby and Oaks blogs, you can head over to todaysracingdigest.com. I update my Kentucky Derby and my Kentucky Oaks 2020 blogs each week, and you can read those at todaysracingdigest.com. And if you're interested now in the complete digest for Fountain of Youth Day, and those are the races that I'm going to do today, are the Davona Dale and the Fountain of Youth Stakes, but there's 9 stakes races on that 14-race program at Gulfstream Park on Saturday, February 29th, and that complete Gulfstream Park digest for Fountain of Youth Day is available right now. And then it's going to include today's Racing Digest speed figures. You're going to get your fast figs. I mention those often in these videos. The CPR, which is the comprehensive performance rating, and the fire number. Those numbers are exclusive to today's Racing Digest, and they're their most popular numbers. You're going to get analysis of the races. You're going to get betting strategies, and you're going to get much more. Now, last year at today's Racing Digest, the Fountain of Youth Digest, over 17,000 in payouts. So they had a very profitable day, Fountain of Youth Day last year, including giving out multiple daily doubles, pick 3s. They had a pick 4, a super high 5. So they did well with their digest last year. And if you're interested in purchasing the 2020 Fountain of Youth Day digest from Gulfstream Park, head over to todaysracingdigest.com to get that product. Now we're going to jump into this week's video, and we're going to do the 2 races, beginning with the 10th race at Gulfstream Park, the Grade 2 Davona Dale Stakes for 3-year-old fillies, 1 mile on the main track around 1 turn, and this is a Kentucky Oaks 2020 points race, and we have a 9-horse field, and I've got it down to 4 solid contenders in here, beginning with number 1, Chart. This one's 10-1 morning line. Now, she took money in her debut. That was at 6 furlongs at Tampa Bay Downs, and she looked good. She was up on the pace. She won that one nicely. Now she's going to have to run further in her first start against winners from the inside post, but she should be forwardly placed, and if there's any kind of inside speed bias going on at Gulfstream on Saturday, she should make her presence felt throughout. Now, number 9, Tonalist Shape, is the second choice on the morning line. This one is 7-2. She's 4 for 4 lifetime. She's going to have to run faster this time than she did in the Forward Gal Stakes last time for sharp trainer Safi Joseph Jr. She did win a slow edition of the Grade 3 Forward Gal last time at 7 furlongs from the outside post. She was a very easy winner, but it was a very weak field, and she was just able to win nicely there. Now, her start, a couple starts back, she ran much faster at this distance, and she's going to have to run that fast because she's facing a formidable favorite in this race, and I'll get to that one in a few minutes. But she's probably going to stalk outside just like she did in the Forward Gal, and she's not going to be the favorite. She'll be the second choice. So if you like her, you'll probably get a bit of value. She's probably going to have to run maybe the fastest that she's ever run to get the job done, but she could easily score here. This isn't a deep race either. Number 5, Reluctant Bride at 15-1 morning line is at least interesting to hit the board. She's a late runner. She's going from turf to dirt for trainer Patrick Biancone. We've seen him do this before. Patrick Biancone, he has Ete Indien and Sol Volante on the Derby Trail. They both switched from turf to dirt, and they did well in their dirt starts. And Sol Volante won the Sam F. Davis Stakes. Ete Indien was second in the Holy Bull. He's running in the Fountain of Youth. So he's had success this year with the same maneuver. Flavien Prat's going to ride. She's bred for dirt, and she's going to be running late. Number 6, Spice is Nice, is your favorite in this race, and she looked good in her debut. It was at Gulfstream Park on January 12th at this 1 mile distance. She stalked the pace. It wasn't a quick pace. She just took over and she won by 12 lengths. They paid more than $1 million for her. She's a daughter of Curlin. This looks like a weak stake spot. I think she's the right filly in this race. She's going to be forwardly placed, probably not on the lead, but she could end up in a better position than Tonalist Shape, and she looks tough to beat in here. Now this is going to be the Fast Figs Spotlight race, and we're going to pull up the Fast Figs right now, and you'll see that Tonalist Shape, we mentioned that one, has the best Fast Figs with a 124, a Reluctant Bride with a 121, and Spice is Nice with a 120. And if you're not familiar with the Fast Figs, you can learn more about them in the description in this video. And also, I've mentioned in my other videos that the Fast Fig is a class and speed rating all rolled into one. And and the numbers make sense here. I mean, Tonalist Shape is the proven stakes runner in this race. That's why she has the highest Fast Fig. Reluctant Bride's numbers are coming from turf. And then Spice is Nice with a 120 off of one career race. So I think out of all these horses, she seems to have the most upside. She has the right running style. The only thing that's a negative is obviously the price, but I think she's the most likely winner if she moves forward at all, because her Fast Fig's going to jump up. When you look at Spice is Nice and Tonalist Shape, they're both stalkers. Spice is Nice should be able to get that inside advantage over that one, and I'm going to pick her on top, and we're going to give out our wagering strategies for this race. And here's how I'm going to play this race. I'm going to make an exacta Spice is Nice the 6 over the 5 Reluctant Bride, and then a trifecta key. We're going to key the 6 Spice is Nice over the 1 Chart, the 5 Reluctant Bride, and the 9 Tonalist Shape. Now let's jump over to Gulfstream Park race 14 for the final race we're going to cover in this video, the Grade 2 Fountain the Youth Stakes, a mile and a 16th on the main track. We have a 12-horse field, and there seems to be a lot of pace in this race. And there are 5 horses that seem to stand out above the others. Let's start with number 12, Chance It. And there's a chance that Chance It may not run in this spot. He's drawn all the way on the outside. He's got speed, and he may end up getting hung out wide. So trainer Safi Joseph Jr. is going to consult with the owners. They're going to decide whether they're going to stay in this spot and tough it out from post 12, or wait a week and go to the Tampa Bay Derby. We'll see what they do in here. But this one loves Gulfstream Park. All the career starts are there. Finished 1st and 2nd in all 6 of those starts with 4 wins and 2 seconds. It's probably going to stalk outside from this post because there is other speed. Tyler Gaffalione's going to ride. Good jockey trainer team. But as I said, due to the tough draw, we'll see if he stays in. The 11, Ete Indien, I mentioned that one for trainer Patrick Biancone when I was talking about the Davona Dale. 8-1 morning line. Now, he ran well in both of his local starts, switching to the main track. And then last time, as I said, he was, as I mentioned earlier, he was 2nd in the Holy Bull. But he was a clear 2nd. He was never going to beat Tis the Law there, but more than 11 lengths back to the show finisher. And he earned a quality speed figure. So the most negative thing is he's got post 11, and he does meet other speed. Going to have to hustle out of there from that post. Now the 5, Dennis's Moment, probably the most likely winner of this race just based on 2-year-old form and the way that the race seems to shape up. But he's not going to offer a lot of value, and we still really don't know how good he is. In 4 starts last year, he had 2 big wins, and then in his other 2 starts, in his debut, he threw the rider at the start, and then in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, he ended up breaking slow, stumbling at the start, falling far behind, and then never picking his feet up. So his 2 wins was a blowout maiden win at Ellis Park at 7 furlongs, and then his other win was at the Iroquois Stakes. He looked good tracking the pace and winning, but the Iroquois Stakes, the horses that have come back out of that race have not run well, especially Scabbard, the clear runner-up. He's disappointed, so don't know how much Dennis's Moment was beating last year, but when he did show up, he really showed up, and he earned some quality speed figures that make him a threat in this race. He's going to have improved from age 2 to 3. We'll see if he does that. Some of the horses do, some don't. We'll see where he stands. His workouts are okay, nothing spectacular. We'll see how he goes. There's no excuses. He's ready to go. He should sit a good stalking trip. And again, no excuses for him. We'll see what Dennis's Moment can do, but he's not going to offer a lot of value, but he is a solid win contender. The 6, as seen on TV, 9-2 morning line. Now this one, his numbers are rising, and the biggest question of how is he going to run around 2 turns. All of his races so far have been around 1 turn. If he can relax and track the pace like he did a little bit last time in the Mucho Macho Man, where he did stalk a front runner and he battled with Chance It all the way to the wire and just lost by a head. That was a good effort. And the show finisher was Sol Volante. Again, that was one we mentioned for Patrick Biancone earlier, and he returned to capture the Sam F. Davis Stakes. So as seen on TV, beat a quality rival last time, and he was right there with Chance It, who's one of the solid contenders in this race. He's 9-2, good post. If he can relax and sit a tactical trip, I think he has a decent shot. I'm going to go with the 7 Country Grammar just as a long shot in this race. He's 15-1 morning line. I have to admit, he is a mystery for trainer Chad Brown. He finished an even 4th in his turf route debut. He was chasing slow fractions. He was wide. And then last time they switched to the main track at 1 1/8. The second time out, he was tracking a slow pace, and he beat a next out winner. He looked good winning that race. And they considered him for other stakes races later in the year last year, like the Remsen. They didn't go there. They were looking for an allowance race to fill, and it didn't. They want to run him in the Wood Memorial. That's his main goal. So they're running out of time. They have to put him somewhere. So they're going to put him in this race. And it does seem to set up for an off-the-pace runner. Even though he was up on the pace in both of his races, the paces were very slow, and that's the only reason that he was up on the pace. I'm expecting him to come from well off the pace in this race. They paid $450,000 for this son of Tonalist. He has a bullet workout for this back on February 16th. Should get pace to chase, good connections. It's just a question of we don't really know how good he is. It's his first start against winners, first start of the year. But I think this race does set up for an off-the-pace type. I'm expecting him to run well in the stretch. If it's a speed favoring track, that he might struggle a bit, but I think he has a decent shot in here if the pace heats up and he's ready to go. And Chad Brown runners are typically ready to go off the layoff. So my top choices in these 2 races, Spice is nice, number 6 is my top choice in the Davona Dale, and then in Gulfstream Park race 14, the Grade 2 Fountain, the U Stakes. I'm taking a shot with number 7, Country Grammar, for trainer Chad Brown at 15-1 morning line. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, make some comments in the comment section. Who do you like in these stakes races at Gulfstream Park on Fountain the Youth Day? And we can talk, if you're interested in talking about Derby, anything to do with the Derby Trail this year, throw it in the comments. I'll make sure I read them and get the comments back to you. So that will wrap up this video. I'll be back next week with another stakes race from around the country. And it's probably going to be, as we continue to go into March and early April, every week we're going to be doing these Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks points races. So until next week, good luck at the races.